start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Harmon, can we please go one damn week without hearing you defend Nintendo's BS practices? Please, Harmon, let us go 1 week. Well, let's get into this reaction.
This entire controversy is a fantastic example of just how desperate the gaming community is.
And how desperate is the gaming community? Can you please explain? Now, I did sit here and tell some people that, hey, Thursday I was going to come out with the video about how he called me out in his live stream. Don't you worry, that one's going to come. But me and Dezire are going to do that one together on Sunday. Unfortunately, me and him are both busy the rest of the week, and that is the only day me and him can get together on.
In downplaying Mario Kart World, they have gone to extraordinary lengths to...
And how so, Harmon? How have we gone to extraordinary lengths to downplay an overpriced game like Mario Kart World that is missing so much content? It doesn't have enough content to even justify a $70 price tag, let alone an $80.
Complain about the price point, they complain about the game itself, they complain about the modes.
Well, yes, the price point is terrible, Harmon. And when it comes to the modes, Grand Prix is still fun if you didn't have to sit here and do the intermissions. I mean, personally, I don't mind the intermissions. They're a little fun, but they get repetitive and boring after a while. Eventually, you just want to do the regular 3-lap circuit. Knockout Tour is phenomenal, but open world mode is nothing but boring, filled with these nonsense P-switch missions, which at first they're fun, but after you do a few, they get boring and there's no incentive to actually do them.
The features, the open world, right, the character roster, the UI of the character.
Half of the character roster nobody asked for, Harmon. Were you running around with your head cut off asking for a freaking cow for crying out loud? Let me know down in the comments. Was anybody asking for a damn cow? Or would you have rather had Diddy Kong?
Roster, right? There's been so many copes and seeds, it's been impossible to keep track of them all.
Harmon, we all know who the real one here that copes and sees. That would be you.
But this absolutely has to be the lowest of the low.
Harmon, I think you say that at least once a month. How are you still surprised? You've been doing this for 9 damn years and you're still going to sit here and say, oh, this is the lowest of the low.
The most absolute balls to the walls, insane cope.
Okay, Harmon, I will allow it. Please continue. Explain how this is like the worst balls to the walls cope already. Just get on with it. I ain't got all damn night.
I have ever seen regarding this game. Other YouTubers are telling you right now that Mario Kart World is dead.
I wouldn't say it's dead. There's still a lot of fanboys like you that are going to play this damn game, but it definitely went down until they fixed that damn patch they did. Nobody wanted to deal with the intermission tracks. You need to understand this, Harmon. Not everybody wants to accept what Nintendo does.
Because of this update. Because Nintendo killed it with a patch.
Well, one of the few good things about this game, they did kill it after all.
What did they do exactly? They changed the way the random roulette wheel works.
Yes, which means, for everybody that doesn't know, before you went online, you could hit the random button and you would generally get the circuit races with the 3 laps going around. And instead, they changed it to where now you're going to have to deal with 2 intermission tracks, and then you get 1 lap with the whole actual map itself. People did not want the intermission tracks. I don't know the reasons why. I've heard some things. Some people are better off explaining it than I am.
If you've been paying attention over the past couple of weeks, you know, one of the big narratives that people have been coming up with is that, like, in order to get to the good tracks, in order to race a real circuit.
Quick side note, I am so glad I sat there and paused it at that right moment because that is the perfect thumbnail. Thank you so much, Harmon. I swear, your facial expressions make some of the best thumbnails I can make. But yes, they want to play the real circuit races, the real good races, the ones where you don't have intermission traction or tracks.
What you have to do is select random on online play, and that allows you to go around a track 3 times instead of going through the intermissions, right?
Yes, that's what a lot of people wanted. They didn't want to go through the intermissions. It's probably why so many people are saying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a lot better than Mario Kart World. I almost called it Mario Kart 8 World.
So the narrative was that, like, you know, circuit racing was way bigger than like the highway style, and that's not true at all. You know, like, they're different.
No, Harmon, it's very true. Here, I'm going to speak very slowly for you so you can understand. People didn't want the highway tracks. They wanted the actual circuits. What Mario Kart is known for. Am I speaking slow enough to get through that thick noggin of yours?
They're different shades of the same thing. You know, there is no like giant radical like improved track design if you go around it 3 times.
No, but would you like to know what happens? It makes the game more fun.
Right? Like, it's just a giant cope. And it always was, you know, from the earliest
How so, Harmon? Really? How so? You know, there is something wrong with your logic where literally Nintendo can do no wrong in your head. You are only 2 people have I met that is perfectly okay with charging $10 for that welcome tour. But you are the only one I have ever seen. Technically, we've never met, but you know what I mean. But you are the only one I have ever seen that literally said in one of your videos last week that we should appreciate Nintendo for not charging us $50. You can go F off.
From the earliest moment I've seen this conspiracy, it's just obviously been like an extremely transparent way to downplay Mario Kart. You know, it's
No, it's a very big way of showing you that Mario Kart World isn't as good as you thought it was. It took one of the best features out of the game. What next? They're going to take away the knockout mode?
it's just one of those things you've seen people like spurg out about on message boards, like, oh man, I have to choose random because that's the only way I can get a proper 3-lap race, you know, that.
Yes, that was the best way to get the good race that you wanted. Harmon, you seriously need to stay off 4chan. It's not for you.
That was like the entire narrative, like for the past couple of weeks, right? Like this was like this reoccurring thing that people latched onto and obsessed over. Like,
yes, but this is an actual thing to be upset about. Now, I will sit here and agree that there are times where people will latch on to one of the most smallest, ridiculous things ever, but Harmon, this isn't one of them.
I have to play random. And it's, yep, no more. Nintendo patched that out.
Oh, don't worry, Harmon. They're probably going to either make that specific a mode for people, or they're going to patch that right back in from all the feedback they're getting right now.
That no longer works that way. You no longer get like a 3-lap circuit based like automatically by selecting random.
Yes, and that's why Nintendo is getting so much hate right now for it.
So what this means is people on Twitter and on 4chan are crashing out about this, saying that like Nintendo destroyed the game and that like it's completely.
Well, I wouldn't say they destroyed the game. You still got the knockout tour, but they definitely destroyed Grand Prix. That people do not want to play Grand Prix as much. Now they're just going to go to the knockout tour.
Dead, and that like no one's going to want to play it anymore. You know, coming from the same people who said that like nobody was going to buy this game at $80 to begin with. So
unfortunately, I was one of those people that said no one was going to buy it, and I was so sadly wrong. I am so ashamed at you Nintendo people right now for that.
Yeah, we all know that they're still playing it. They never even stopped. So, like, we do need to, like, take a step back and just acknowledge just how insane this was to begin with, right?
The only thing we need to acknowledge here is how sane your hairline has become.
Because people got it so up in their heads, you know, this idea that the highways were lame, that they were uninspired, that they...
Which they were lame, and you have no room to talk about being up in their head about things. But unlike the rest of us, you actually have that massive ass forehead to where you can fit all that crap in.
That they weren't very good, in spite of the fact that obviously wasn't true, right?
Well, if that wasn't true, you wouldn't be seeing this mass panic and people freaking out over it right now.
You know, they got this mindset that Nintendo, like, completely dropped the ball with World, that, like, there was nothing good about the game.
Well, they did drop the ball with World. Unfortunately, a lot of Nintendo fans just can't accept it or see it.
That they would rather just play Circuit all the time, right? Like that was their mindset. That was their like opinion on the matter, and it was like,
which is a very good mindset, unlike yours.
It's so exaggerated and so ridiculous that you can't take it seriously, right?
Just like nobody can take you seriously.
Because you constantly see people say like, well, competitive Mario Kart fans want to play random so they can do the circuit, so it can like reward real skill and so forth. You know, they've really tried.
That is very true, Harmon. That's what they want. They don't want this intermission highway track things. I understand that you don't have the skill to actually perform in there, so you need those highway tracks. Because from what I heard, that the highway tracks, there's no shortcuts, there's no nothing else that you could really do. You just got to drive in a straight line. The actual laps around the actual tracks is where you have all the skill on.
Pushing this angle that Nintendo's design for Mario Kart World was like fundamentally flawed.
Well, that's just an obvious. I don't even have, no one has to say. You literally just stated the obvious right there. And Harmon, edit out when you drink that damn nasty ass looking cup water. Okay, I don't want to do your editing for you.
And now that they have to face the music, you know, now that they have to play on the highways more, you know, they're kind of relegated to like the same grim reality that I do think needs to be pointed out more. You know, like.
Harmon, the only thing that needs to be pointed out now is you need to go take a shower or something.
The competitive community's ideas on what constitutes a good Mario Kart track are irrelevant.
No, what Nintendo wanted for their actual IP is what's irrelevant.
Because what you should be doing is playing every single track all the time with different people, you know, experimenting, growing, you know, with different builds, right? You're not going to do that by doing the same thing over and over and over again, all right? And I do think that, like...
Well, Harmon, like I've said before, no one cares what you think. And now it's time to read off the members of the channel. We got Jay Wesby65, Brian Payne, Oh No Is Justin, Watari, Shade Milkman, MadFox94, Maximilian Pegasus 88, and Koros Objective. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew. And if you truly enjoy this content, why don't you think about becoming a member? It's only $1 a month. You get special kind of badges, you get special kind of emotes, and at the end of all my videos, I will sit here and shout out all my members until it becomes too long, and then it'll be turned into a credit roll. So that's going to be it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're